Welcome to the Inside MMA Network, guys. I'm your host, Jake Fine, founder of this whole channel. And today we're going to be interviewing Justin Montalvo, AKA Kidd Marvelous. Kidd Marvelous is a pro fighter who's about to have his first fight in Bellator. He had 32 amateur fights between kickboxing, boxing, and MMA. He trains at LAW under Longo. He's 2-0 with 2 knockouts as a pro, and he's about to have his first fight with Bellator, which is super exciting. I was lucky enough to get him on a quick 20-minute interview today as our first interview. I'm super excited to have him on. It was great talking to him, and cheers to the first of many. I do want to give a moment to our sponsor, aka sponsors. So let's get into that really quick. This show is brought to you by the Manimal documentary. The Manimal documentary is a documentary about John the Manimal Beneducci, a fighter from LAW as well. He's from New York. He actually introduced me to Justin, who we're interviewing today. John is a legend in the New York MMA community. He is a black belt under Matt Serra in jiu-jitsu. He's fought in Bellator twice. He won his last fight at Madison Square Garden in 2018 or 2019. I can't remember exactly what day, but we are currently in post-production on his documentary, which is entirely made by us, me, a couple other people, and it's being produced by John and a couple other people as well. This is going to be the first documentary that we release in the Inside MMA Network, and I want to use this show as a time to kind of promote that. It'll be coming out in the next few months, so I just want to put the word out now. More to come on that. But without further ado, let's get into the show, the interview with Justin Kidd Marvelous Montalvo. Congrats on signing with Bellator. Yeah, how'd that come about?
Just my manager, pulling some strings. Has been talking to every organization, trying to get me in there. Been knocking on all the doors. Let me in. So
Yeah. So I read one of you had this interview online. I forget the source, but your goal is to be in the UFC. Yeah. So, but you're about to have your first Bellator fight.
yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm not angry with Bellator. I mean, just wherever it takes. I just want to fight. I love to fight. So
Facts. So, well, tell me about your 32 amateur fights between all the different fighting sports.
started kickboxing with Ray Longo when I was like 16 years old. But yeah, so I got my first fight when I was 16. I started training when I was 14. So it took about like 2 years to get my first fight. So then once I took my first fight, I lost my first fight, but I fucking fell in love with it. And I came back and I went on a win streak. And then my record was like, I was like 5-3. So like eight kickboxing fights. And after that, there was a boxing coach in my gym, and he was training boxers and stuff. And he was talking about the Golden Gloves. And I said, hey, man, I'd really like to do the Golden Gloves. I think that would be an awesome opportunity for me. Get my striking up there and everything. Just be a good opportunity. So I've jumped in the Golden Gloves, and I racked up like 18 boxing fights. Then I decided to move into the MMA world. So then I have like 6 amateur MMA fights.
When you got into boxing, did you always know that boxing was just a means to an end for MMA?
At first I was really like into boxing. I did it for like 2 years. And I was like, yeah, I always thought I'd be good at boxing because when I was kickboxing, I would mainly throw punches. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go to boxing route. And yeah, so eventually I met up with Ray and we talked about it, and then we made our decision to go into the MMA world because the majority of my friends were in MMA, and my coaches were in MMA, so it just seemed like the way to go. So I said, yeah, I'll do MMA.
You said you had 18 boxing fights. What was your record?
It was 10-8.
Wow.
A lot of decisions, man. Like I fought the best guys because they knew I had a kickboxing experience. They found out, and they threw me in with the top dogs right away. So I was fighting really good guys, and I would make it to the decision, and a lot of people would think I won. But then they would go to the scorecards and would always favor the guy that was doing more for boxing because boxing is really political.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost a bunch of decisions, but all my losses were like, "Yo, I thought you won." Everybody said I thought you won. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just an amateur, and it's gonna give me more experience." So
That's a crazy world. So I read about your dad that he's super supportive. Um, he was into mixed martial arts, but his mom didn't want. This is what I read. His mom didn't want him to do it, so he kind of got you into it. Is it? I come from parents who would never want their kids to even play football, let alone wrestling or fighting. What's that like when your parents are like super behind your fighting?
it's really awesome. Like my mom isn't like she's really a nervous wreck, but she decides not to get into it. But she'll pep me up and talk to me about it. She likes that when I'm doing good right now.
Yeah.
But mainly like I got into fighting myself. It wasn't because of my dad. I got into it and when I was like in middle school. I got into it to do jiu-jitsu. I wanted to do jiu-jitsu for some reason. I saw the people wearing it in the gi and I saw like an arm bar. My cousin showed me like an arm bar. And I was like, oh, this is really sick. Like I want to try jiu-jitsu. So that's mainly like what got me into it. And then I found out I was being trained by Bam Bam. His name is Franco Yegi. He's a firefighter now, but he had like 3 amateur fights at the time. And he was training me personally, like one-on-one at Ray Longo's gym. So I was like, man, once a week is just not enough for me. I have to do this every day. So that's mainly what got me into it was just, I think of like a little friend from middle school talked about it, or like he got me in a move, or like we were wrestling around, or I might have gotten a fight in middle school, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how to defend myself. I was like, I want to learn how to fight. I used to box my sister growing up. Like when I was a little kid, my sister used to beat the pants off of me.
That's crazy. Is she older than you?
Yeah, she's a lot older than me. She would just stick her arm out and fucking.
So, did when you got into martial arts, did you realize it was, like a budding professional sport at that point?
Wait, say that again?
Like you're 24, right?
25.
Oh, okay. So when you're 25, I can assume like when you got into it, I mean the UFC wasn't nearly as big as it is now. Mixed martial arts as a sport wasn't as big as it is now. When did you figure out like, oh, this could be like my profession?
Yeah, I just thought starting at a young age in any sport would be a good idea for me. I wanted to I had a dream when I was 14 years old, maybe 13 years old, and I thought, man, if I realized like a lot of the best fighters, like Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, they started at really young ages. So I thought, if I go into this at a young age and I really dedicate myself to it, that I could really be something. So I told my dad I wanted to do it, and I had to convince my family at first. But my dad was with it because, like you said before, my dad had a dream to box. He wanted to be an actor. He had really big goals, but my grandma took the boxing away from him, and in acting, he got a girl pregnant, so he couldn't pursue acting, so he became a cop. So he said, I didn't get to chase my dreams. I was still a cop, which is cool, but I always wanted to be something bigger. So he's kind of, giving his opportunity to me, and he's like, you know, he's he wants to see it in me, because he couldn't do it, and he wants to support me. He wants to see me do it and chase my dreams like he couldn't. But yeah.
That's a crazy thing. What's it like chasing like fighting as a career?
Chasing fighting is crazy. I'm happy that I got all the experience in because I'm the type of person to where I need it. I don't know how I would start it out late. Some people can do it and they could really do well. I'm the type of person where I have to learn and learn and learn and learn. So me starting at a young age was a perfect decision for me. So like I learned how to win fights. I learned how to, deal with everything. Out of all these fights I've had, I've learned, what works, how to cut weight better, just as my personality is.
What so when you when you left boxing, did you go like right into back into MMA?
Yeah, I mean, I took a little break. I took like 6 months off, like you too. Yeah, probably like 6 months or a little longer, just to try and work on my wrestling. And I didn't really like have any guidance, so then I kind of just jumped into my first amateur fight, and I just got out wrestled, and I was like, well, that sucked. So then I talked to Ray about it. He's like, you need to work on, getting back to your feet. So then I worked on that religiously, getting back to my feet, so I could make it a boxing match with these guys. And yeah, my second amateur fight, I had great success. I just came out there, boxed him up. He tried to take me down. I learned how to stop a takedown. So
I did see. I think I saw the first amateur fight.
my first one I lost. I fought Justin Walker and I lost. He took me down. My second fight I fought Tom Majeski, Hot Sauce Majeski. He's in CFFC now. He's undefeated as a pro. He's pretty good.
Wow.
But I came in there. I just went after him. You know what to do.
I saw two. I saw two like amateur fights of yours. I'm pretty sure. I think I saw the last one. And this article I read basically was like saying how you needed one more win to convince Ray that you could go pro.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like you had to convince him. Like, how does that? Why do you have to convince Ray? I mean, explain that to me.
Yeah, it's just like fighting. Ray gives a crap about everybody, and he doesn't want you going pro off an amateur loss. He wants you to go pro after a win, so you have that confidence going into the next bout. So I had a lot going through my mind for that last fight. So I got my mind all together. I got focused. I got right, and yeah, I freaking killed it. So
Was that the one that you got? You knocked a guy out in 36 seconds, or was that your last pro fight?
that was my pro debut.
Okay.
My last amateur fight was at the Capital. I fought I forgot his name, but I fought him and I dropped him with a body shot, right? And we were in a boxing ring. It was an MMA fight in a boxing ring. The boxing ring kind of like threw me off and confused me. So I dropped him with a body shot and I walked away like it was a standing 8 count.
I saw that one. I saw that.
And then Ray's like, what the fuck? Are you fucking crazy? Go finish him. So then I was like, oh shit. I ran over there, tried to finish him. And he survived because of my dumb ass. So then the next round, I'm like, don't worry, Ray, don't worry. I'm going to finish him. So then I beat him up, got him on the ground, took his back, and rear naked choked him in the third round.
That was sick because to me, it looked like you just were being saucy and like just let him be. When after you knocked him over, you were like, I want to keep this guy around so I can fight longer. That's how it didn't look like you made a mistake. You kind of played it off well. Yeah. So your background's mostly in boxing and kickboxing. Did it feel good to get a submission in that win?
Yeah, it felt really good. It was cool because Serra was in my corner. And to get a submission win in front of him was awesome. And he really loved it. So I actually ended up working out just as good. And Ray was just like, what can I do? At least you finished him,
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. We kind of laughed at it. So then after that, I'm like, my next fight, my pro debut, when I drop him, I'm going to finish really quickly. And that's what I was talking. I told my dad I was going to let it fall into place. So I rocked him and I said, and for that split second when I rocked him, I had that flashback to that last fight where I didn't finish. I said, no, not letting that happen again. So I took him out, ground and pounded him. Then I made another mistake, a little mistake. After I finished him, I screamed over his body, like, because I had still that adrenaline surging through me. And then Ray was like, what the fuck? He didn't like that I screamed at the guy. You know what I mean? Because it was a little disrespectful to the opponent, which I understand. So I just had that adrenaline rushing through me. So then after that, I was like, okay, my next fight, when I hurt this guy again, I'm not going to fucking scream over his body. I'm going to help him and be nice right after the fight. So Next fight, my last pro fight in Florida at Triton, I dropped him with a body shot, finished him, and I celebrated on the cage. Then after, I picked him up, gave him a hug. So everybody was happy, you know.
That's pretty honorable.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny.
like making Ray happy. He's the leader, man. He's the godfather.
Great guy in my experience. So now you're 2-0 with 2 knockouts as a pro. Is that where you see your career heading? Just knockout artist, just piecing people up?
Yeah, just where I'm headed and where my mindset is, I really feel like anything is possible. I feel like I can get submissions. I feel like I could knock you out. I could wear you down. I could outpoint you. My mindset is just in a different place, and I really feel like I'm headed towards great things. I say I'm the greatest, and I really want to put that out there and prove that I'm the greatest. And I want to just fight anybody, and really just enjoy this journey and try to change my life and do great things out of this sport and change other people's lives as well.
Does it help with because you clearly have confidence. Does it help that you're at Law and training under Ray with all these other seasoned pros?
Yeah, I mean, what really helps is just my dad, all these years of training, and just kind of like having enough with it. Like, I really just grew into something else. I really found myself in there. And it's something that is hard to explain to someone that's never fought, but there's different versions of you. You know, when you're in your first fight ever, you know, a lot of things are going through your mind. It's like you're really finding out who you are and how are you going to perform under those lights. It's a lot different than the gym. So I really found myself, and yeah, I want to show the world who I really am and how hard I've worked for this. And this is the best opportunity for me. This is what I've been waiting for. And I'm really happy just to go out there and do it, man. I know, don't mean to sound cliche, but let's do it. Let's make everybody happy. Let's have a fucking great fight.
Facts. So who are you facing in your first Bellator fight?
Henley St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't have the best record, but he's pretty big. He looks like a strong guy. He has a nice right hand. He's got some good kicks. So I don't take anybody lightly. Taking him very seriously. And I plan to finish him, knock him out, and do what I do, and just come in there with that mindset and let everybody know that who's the real king of Bellator.
Facts. I love that. So I mean, this might be a stupid question, but then like, what are your goals for Bellator as you get on this huge stage?
Yeah, I just want to just make sure that I'm myself and like just make sure that I let that version of me go and let it all out in that cage. That's all I could really do is just let it all out and show everybody who Kidd Marvelous is.
Facts. So I guess to take it off fighting a little bit, what else do you do outside of fighting?
This is all I do.
Wow.
My dad supports me 100%. So all I do is train twice a day. Try to just get my rest in, lay down. I play some Call of Duty. I play some Warzone with my friends. And that's it. And I just try to stay focused and I keep my girlfriend happy. I love my girl. I got great support. I got my mom, my dad, my girl. They all love me to death. So.
How many wins in Warzone?
Wins? I don't know. I play with my boy a lot. His name is Fluffy Joey. I play with him a lot on Xbox, and we go hard, and we try to get as much kills. We stick together, you know. We have fun.
Yeah, that's all I did during the pandemic. I actually got decent at Call of Duty. It's like
fun.
Yeah.
Keeps your hand-eye coordination, right?
It does, dude. Because what else am I doing with sports during the pandemic?
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, is there anything you want to leave the interview with?
Dude, I appreciate the interview. And I really hope I get that first round knockout for you, and we can look back on this interview and say we killed it.
Have you done like a podcast interview before?
I've done podcasts with Manimal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Is that the only other one?
Nah, I've done a few. I've done a few interviews. Yeah, but probably with Manimal's my only podcast. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you're my first fighter. I'm starting this new like podcast. You're my first interview on here, so this is pretty cool.
Oh shit!
So I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah, legendary.
making history.
Facts. Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's you're about to have your first Bellator fight. This is my first interview with a pro. So this will be
all
cool.
lining up, man.
Facts.
The stars are aligning.
Facts. Well, hopefully you get this win. Hopefully I'll be at Law again sometime in the next year with John, and I'll see you again, or maybe Serra's. And
Yeah, man.
yeah, good luck to you, man.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
bro.
your time.
See
Cool,
you later,
man.
bro.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Dude.
Thanks again, guys, for watching or listening. I'll see you guys again in the next one. We've got plenty more interviews as well as podcasts and vlog content and documentary content coming up on this channel, the Inside MMA Network. So I'm super excited for this to finally be here. Thank you guys again for listening and watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever else you like to watch content. Peace.